kids, welcome to another Glen YAPS. We're spending the day tuning up some guitars, getting them cleaned up. This is my baby, my G&L Tele Classic. It's 1990s. I forget the year, it's either 93 or 96. I love this guitar, it's one of my faves. But she's needs some strings and a little bit of cleanup and do a little neck adjustment on it and get her back in for recording. A friend of mine gave me this custom strap. It's heavy duty. This is my buddy Steve. Our band played his wedding, and that was one of the gifts he gave us. That was the best. I love it. Perfect for this guitar. Everybody in the band got one, and food. So basically we're cleaning all in here. I always find it a pain to clean in here. Like the Q-tips, I put a little bit of autosol on and kind of let it sit there and then try and buff it out with this, but I don't really want to take all these out. Like, they lift up a bit. I'd like to know an easier way of doing it. Like, what I normally do is to get in the corners and stuff and around the springs, I use a Q-tip and it works. And then what I do is take the cloth with underneath this, or wrapped around this popsicle stick, and then lift up and then kind of brush under. It's almost like you were vacuuming under a sofa, and seems to work. And I like to take a little bit of WD-40 and just put a little bit on the threads, just a little bit, just keep the corrosion from happening. And I'm going to spray the pots. And keep those good. I'm going to try these. I bought a whole bunch of these off a friend. I usually use stainless. I like stainless, but hard to get stainless anymore. I really like stainless. A little harder to bend, but I just find they last longer. Neck's a bit grungy, so we'll clean that up with a little bit of oil soap. Anyways, that's it for now. That's what we're doing, giving the old baby a tune-up. Okay, drums are a lot easier to clean than guitar, let me tell you. Anyways, cleaning the filth off my neck. Not my neck, the guitar neck. My neck is clean. And definitely get a lot of grime in here. So I use a little bit of oil soap on here. I've heard pluses and minuses to the soap. I've used it since I started playing guitar, and I've never had issues. The guitars are fine, so use what you will, but I like it. And does a good job, and it definitely eats off the dirt. And the good point is of this stuff is, this is like an old English furniture type thing. And just do circles on it, and eventually the dirt and grime will wipe the goop out of there. So just trying to get around the fret edges there. Yeah, it's definitely taking the dirt off. I play this guitar a lot, so. And a little goes a long way. Like, I have like probably 12 guitars, and I've used it on all of them, including my basses. I use it on my drums too, for shells and bearing edges. Look at that. And these strings weren't changed too long ago, so Like I say, I play this guitar a lot, so my favorite guitar. It's going to need a fret job probably soon. It's just the way it is. Anything stubborn, just take a toothbrush and get in there. Do circles, do straight on the edges here. And it'll loosen up any grime that's on there that's a little too hard to get off. Doesn't have to be a stiff brush. Okay, yeah, put a little more on here. Like I say, a couple drops. That's all you need. Yeah, and still taking grime off of it. So we're at the 12th marker here, so let's do the other side of the fret. I'm trying to get my nail in there just in case something's strapped down on the edge of the fret. And we're going to wipe some of this off. Like, I just do it to clean it, and then gives the wood a little bit of rejuvenation, I guess would be the word. It's pretty dirty. So we'll move into some clean here. A couple of drops. And we'll get these up here. Go all the way to the top. It's a little smeary, this stuff, but once you wipe it after, you won't have any problems. Alright, so let's do the frets again. Wherever you play the most on the neck is where it's going to accumulate. And I chicken pick, so my fake fingers are always, I have make my own fingernails for guitar playing. They're not on right now, but, and I glue them on, so when they start wearing down, they definitely eventually dust off onto the fretboard and the guitar. Okay. Okay. Just gonna get the nails the other, or the nails, the frets the other way. That looks good. Okay, start getting some of it off now. It'll dull down a bit. That looks good. All set for new strings. Actually, I'm going to clean the body. So I've used this for my guitar polish for many years. I don't even know if they make it anymore. This is my last bottle of it. I bought like, I think 4 bottles. And it goes a long way. But the pumps break on them. And you end up having to use a cloth. It's stuff's really good for getting the grime. For getting the grime off. Because I'm very grimy. When I play guitar, I'm very grimy. So, and this pump's starting to go. Yeah, so I have to do it by hand. This is where you end up knocking shit over. And again, a little drop like that goes a long way. I use Mothers and McGuire's too. It's car polish, or yeah, it's like a spray. It's not a paste. So the only thing is, this stuff is, I don't like it on the chrome too much. I like to use autosol, but it's inevitable that you get it on these parts just because there's so many angles and things to get around. So the whole thing about this is to get it off pretty much after you put it on. I don't use it on the fretboard. Just don't trust a lot of that stuff on the fretboard, gumming it up in the pores and stuff. It's bad enough. Bad enough to just have your fingers gumming it up. So yeah, it's coming pretty clean. I'm gonna buff it after too. I don't have my buffing cloth. I'll go grab it. I bought this guitar when I was working at Groove's Music years and years ago. I was a drum teacher then. And just loved it. It's a G&L. I do have another Tele, a US Tele, which is my second favorite. And then I have a few others. Schecter. I think the Schecter is a classic also, just like this one, but it's more of a rock and roll guitar. Okay, just gonna go get my buffing cloth. Okay. And that looks pretty good. It's only going to be dirty in a few minutes when I play it anyways, so. I always take the knobs off when I'm cleaning the chrome. It's just less things to work around. Okay. Now I got one last thing to do. This is the best stuff for doing electronics. It's expensive. Expensive as all hell, but works great. It's the best. So we just give it a little taste in there. Let's get some paper towel here. Okay, made a little bit of a mess. And we'll do our little volume pots, tone pots. Yeah. Okay. And stuff cleans up pretty easy. Just don't use it a lot of it. It's a little bit toxic. I should say it's a lot toxic. But for doing just a couple little drops in each of the pots, it's nothing. So and I'll add a little bit more of this. So just do the body and then string time. We got the strings on it, as you can see. What I normally do with the strings when I'm putting the new string on is I go roughly like 3 or 4 pegs beyond the string it's going in and then cut the edge off. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'll cut the string, and that's enough length for getting it in there and locking it in place. The G&Ls have the tuning pegs where you can stick the string straight down into the hole. Not all guitars are like that. It makes some things easier. So I adjusted the neck on my guitar. My guitar doesn't really go anywhere. It just goes in my recording studio, which is pretty warm, and it comes upstairs when I'm doing songwriting and the temperature is not so warm. So the neck gets a little moody at the change of seasons, so I always adjust it. And so I gave it a couple little turns on the truss rod, which on this guitar is in here. And how I basically do it to get the right curve. I like a little bit of a curve. I'm not a heavy metal guy that wants a perfectly flat neck. I chicken pick, and I like to dig into the strings, so I don't like it laying right down. So anyways, I go and hold that first fret down with my thumb, and you can hold it down 16th, 17th fret anywhere, and then go on the 12th. And if you got a little bit of play there, just a little bit of play. Sometimes you can take a business card and stick it into there, and that's where I like it. I don't want it any less than that. So there's a little tap before the string hits that fret. So that's where I like my guitar, or even a little more space, but we're in the summer months and this guitar likes to be right there. So that's where it's going to stay. And right now it's in tune, but Intonation, it might be a little bit out. I'm trying different strings too, so I like to at least see if we're pretty close. So I'm going to try and do this here if we can see it. Using just a ball of wool here to hold my guitar neck. Now normally for intonation, laying it down like this is kind of taboo, because you end up, if you're really putting pressure on it, it will kind of move the neck a bit. So normally you do it like the guitar on its side, like this. I really haven't found that much difference on this particular guitar, so we're just going to do it flat for now. So open string, and then you hit the harmonic. Just make sure it's in tune first. And then when I fret the note, we've got it's in E, and it looks pretty good. Oops, wrong note. So that's pretty good. Our harmonic is just in there. And you basically do that for every string. So my A is pretty good there. Harmonic might be out maybe. It's just a little bit, not bad. But the fretted note is good. The D, that's with the harmonic. That's dead on. Hope you see that. I have a bigger tuner downstairs that cooperates more, but that's out of tune just to start with. Let's see, put it like this. It's a little flat. Just a little more. Oops. Okay. Harmonic is in, and when we fret it, it's a little bit sharp. Yeah, so that one's going to need some adjustment. We'll do the B. B is pretty good. Might need a little tweak. No, that's good. And the high E. And that's good. Might be a little bit. Might need a little bit. Okay, so let's do the G first. So just do it in small increments. Like what I use is, you can see the blades of the Phillips screwdriver. There's 4 blades. So I just give it just the smallest of a turn. Then we retune the guitar. So it's gone. Sorry about that, you're looking at my arm. It's back in tune. bit more. Tune it back up. It's a little bit flat, is there? Yeah, just a little more yet. Okay, we're in. Let's check this B one again. That's good. Oh, maybe just a smidge. Just doing like a 1/16 to an 1/8 of a turn. Just remember to retune after every adjustment. That's good, right there. She is good. Always do things in small increments, and that way, and try and remember what the adjustments you've done. Like I say, normally you want the guitar, especially Teles, they're a little wonky for intonation. I have the US one and I have this G&L, and it takes a little bit to get them in. And like I say, I'm trying new strings on here. If you change gauge of strings, like go from 9s to 10s, you should always do this. I always tinker with it after every string change and neck adjustment that I do. So yes, I'm a drummer, and yes, I do my own guitars too. I don't believe in paying people to fix my gear. If I'm going to screw it up, well, I should say, if you're going to have your guitar screwed up, you may as well do it yourself. It's more fun, you learn that way. If you do everything in small movements, like 1/8 of a turn on your truss rod, and the same with your intonation, do it small movements, you shouldn't have any problem. Like I say, you want the open string and the 12th harmonic and fretted note to be pretty much the same. On old Teles, where some of the strings, like 2 strings, share the one saddle, you have to compromise. That's why Teles, they're kind of just a little bit moody in the old days. So, but anyways, work on your own stuff. Save some money. It's more fun too. because then you can yell at yourself when you screw things up. Yeah, so basically I do my own guitars, my own basses, set the intonation, and definitely do my own drum sets because I'm a drummer first and foremost. And yeah, I still can't get a job in a music store. I don't know why. It's one of those deals. I guess I'm not cute enough. Thanks for watching. Now I gotta do dishes.